coming in from? I see London's in the house. We got Ontario. Yeah. Here we go. We're doing it. Come on in. I'm so happy to see you guys. Hi. Are you there, Dr. Shefali? I see your beautiful face, but you're kind of frozen. Come on in. I got Portland, Oregon in the house. We got Southern Cal. How about now? Dr. Shefali? Is it me? Is it you? Come on in. Can you guys hear me? The rest of you, you must, because you're telling me where you are. You're weird. Maybe you should go out and come back in. You're kind of weirdly frozen and I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
And am I clear now?
Now you are. I'm so
All
excited.
right.
Well, hello, my friend. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Welcome. So congratulations, because guess what got birthed into the world?
Yes, it did. Thank you. Thank you for sharing my book.
A
A Radical
radical?
Awakening is out.
Tell it. I'm so excited to hear all about it. So tell me all the things.
Well, I just feel like I'm not. Is it clear, Terry? I think we're freezing.
I think you're okay. Now I can hear you.
I'm thinking I'm going to get on another phone.
Okay. Come back in. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think it looks okay too, but I think that I think it's an internet thing for her. But hello to everyone who's joining us. I'm so excited. Talking about how to turn your pain into power, embrace your truth, and live free. So who doesn't want that? I do. All right, I'm going to see if she jumps off. Hold on. Let me see. She's off. Okay, I'm going to let her come back in on a different phone, and hopefully that will work. But I'm so glad you guys are here. Hi, Sweden's in the house. Where else are you guys coming in from? Who doesn't want to turn their pain into power? I do. Hello, Emily. All right. It says I sent a request. I don't see your request, but I'm going to try to do that. I bet this is going to work, you guys. How
Is
about
it
now?
better?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Sometimes my Wi-Fi acts up. So we're going to talk about my book, A Radical Awakening. Thank you for sharing it with your viewers.
Anytime. I'm so excited. I'm deep into this book at this point. And really people can get it anywhere, right? It's now for sale.
Yes, they can go to
Everywhere.
aradicalawakening.com and they can buy the book, or I'm doing a course on the book for 10 days starting on Sunday. And if they buy the course, they get 3 books included in the course. So they can choose.
Very, very exciting. So let's talk about turning pain into power. I mean, you can share a little bit if you would to start. Just what inspired you to write this book? Like, why now?
Because I had reached a stage in my life where I realized that I had taken on so many roles to be this perfect person in so many aspects of my life that I finally reached a rock bottom experience in my mid 40s and had to rebirth myself. So I then realized, well, if I am going through this, I'm sure hundreds and thousands of other women go through this as well. So this book is an homage to all the ways that we women especially live inauthentically and are so afraid to put ourselves first, and how we can step into our greatest power.
So for you, did you hit it? There was a tipping point in your life that made you just go, I have to change something?
Well, the tipping point always has infinite causes that lead to it. So yes, they all cascaded to a precipitous moment where I was at the end of a lurch and I had to jump, and I could either stay there or really fly. And so that whole process brought up so much fear because we've been conditioned to not jump off lurches, to stay safe and to stay small. So this book is really a path and a process to help women in particular identify their patterns from childhood, why we're playing certain roles we are, then to break them, how that process looks, what it's going to bring up in you. I talk about fear a lot, and the whole need for approval from other people. I mean, that's really the key. Every time I ask my clients, what is stopping you from making a change, they will list 3 or 4 people in their life. And those 4 people who live in our heads oppress us, and their voice limits us and sabotages us from flying off that and taking that leap. So this book is really that path and process to identify how we're sabotaging ourselves, how we're oppressing ourselves, and how we can truly create true authentic change in our lives.
You know, you talk about in the beginning of the book about our authentic selves, and that there's somewhere along the way as we're growing up and being sort of indoctrinated, we sort of lose it. So can you share a little bit about how that happens and how to get out of it?
Well, we all get brainwashed with the cultural prescriptions, and we're forced to subscribe, because if you don't subscribe when you're a kid, you are going to be labeled as the bad one. So no kid wants to be labeled the bad one. Every kid wants to belong and get love and worth from its parents and its culture. So we begin to subscribe, check off these boxes. And each time we do, when it's not coming from within us, we put on a mask. And each mask we wear takes us further away from our truth. And then in our 40s, we are going, who am I? Especially when our children become teenagers and they discard us, they're like, bye. Then you're like, oh my goodness, now what do I do? Who do I play this role with? And also we reach burnout, we get tired of playing these roles. And if anyone who's listening has experienced that, that means their body, their intuition, their inner knowing is trying to tell them they need to move in a different direction. But because we're so used to suppressing our inner knowing, we just suffuse it and keep going another 10 years. Then the voice tries to tell us again, when another relationship falls apart or another job falls apart, that, hey, maybe you need to go in another direction. But we're so scared to make that leap.
So for you, you sort of tell us a little bit about your turning point. And how did people receive when you wanted to change this prescribed role of overdoing, overgiving? How did you do it, and how did the people in your life respond?
They mostly responded really badly because the giver is a really lovely person to be around. So when the giver stops giving, no one is happy. They're like, hello, where is the butler? Where's my little puppet? So there is protest.
Where's my driver?
Where's my driver? Where are you? My little robot. So it's not fun for them. And actually I tell the givers in my life, I talk about the givers in this book. And I tell the givers that you have to have compassion for those that you have suddenly decided to go cold turkey on. You were a lovely drug and you've just taken the needle away and you're just going. And those people are like going, where's my drug? So they protest, they're angry. And any change scares people. So we have to understand that. And the goal of change is not to burn bridges, but it is to release all the toxicity and dysfunction that you were creating in your life. People always say change is about releasing the toxic people in your life. Part of their toxicity was you. you helped bring out their toxicity also.
Right.
And we never want to see that, you know?
It's so true, and I think that there's something in reading this book that there's an awareness of sort of losing the shame, like, going through and realizing that we are 50% of everything that we create in life. It isn't like what everyone is doing to us, but the way that you describe it and the process that we go through within the book, there's this sort of the shedding of the shame, that it's okay to let those masks go and to own our part in, like you just said, like what was dysfunctional. It's not, we don't have to be perfect, right?
Right. You know, if we're being physically subjugated, we can say that was 100% somebody else. You know, if I was
Yes.
going on a run and somebody rapes me, abducts me, how was I? That's not me. Everything that happens after that is me. But in our emotional experience, I would say we're 100%, right, responsible for
Yeah.
that emotional interpretation. And part of the way we interpret things comes from our patterns, comes from what I got versus what you got. So something triggers you and doesn't trigger me because of my emotional blueprint. So I talk about that in the book. I give women blueprints to examine and to kind of see. It's kind of fun to see that, we have so many blueprints and how that plays out in our lives. And then I kind of help women claim back all that they gave away for free. And sometimes we don't realize that when we blame people, when we complain about people, we think that's like, I'm being so strong. But actually, we are in our weakness when the other person is still part of our mental agenda, mental equation. Even if we're angry with them, the fact that we're still tethered to them means they still have power over us.
Yes, that's so true. And so in the releasing of that, like, is it just the process of taking responsibility?
The first thing is to realize why we played that dynamic. How was
Mm,
I co-creating it? And until we see how I was co-creating, so that's what you mean by take responsibility. Take
yep.
responsibility for what? For how I precisely tailored the other person to respond the way they did. And then I put my stitch in and they put their stitch in, and we are an intricate web. And
Hmm.
take full responsibility for your part in this co-creation. And by doing that, you have to go back into your childhood, see your patterns, heal it, enter your worth. Now you detangle, you've entered your worth. Now the other person has nothing to do with you and has no responsibility. They fall away. And this is the process of release and compassion and letting go. It's not like I'm going to kill the other person. It's when you become, we're like this. When you detangle and become strong, then that's it. The distance and the space lets that person go. That's it. That's what wholeness does. It just puts you in another, if you want to use a new age term, in another vibrational frequency. You just like, you leave the old dynamic behind. It happens organically.
Right. Why do you think now this is, I think this is a very important book for now, but I want to know why you think like this is a very important book, A Radical Awakening for Women Now.
Because the patriarchy, made up mostly of unconscious masculine toxic energy, and women can have toxic masculine energy too, is destroying the earth. And we are destroying the earth. And the Me Too movement was a great portal for women to wake up and say, we need to speak up faster, louder, stronger together. The pandemic has woken us up. It's been a global awakening. And the Black Lives Matter coming back into full focus. This is a pivotal moment where we women need to step in, because if we stay quiet and don't occupy the leadership role that we need to in our own lives, and therefore in all those in our lives, then we will continue to allow toxic masculine energy to destroy and dominate the earth. And it's got to stop from not the men stopping anything. It has nothing to do with men, but from women rising in their power. When we rise in consciousness and empowerment, the toxic masculine energy gets checked. Right now, it's rampant, it's unchecked, because we are not in our powerful feminine and masculine energy. We are in a toxic feminine energy. We're quiet, we're complicit, we're servile, passive. So toxic masculinity is winning the game.
Right. And really, there's an urgency.
Yes, we are at a real distressing point in our global well-being. The climate of our earth is dying literally, and that means we are causing it, and we are so severed from our inner being that we can destroy the earth. I mean, the evidence is ample. It's so evident.
Right. But there's still so much denial. So really, this is a time for us to rise. And I feel like A Radical Awakening, this book is literally a how-to book on how to do that. So tell people where they can get it.
Thank you. They can go to radicalawakening.com and grab a copy. Indie bookstores, at your Amazon, it's on Audible, Kindle. And if you go to radicalawakening.com and buy the course, which I'm starting on Sunday, you get 3 books included. So grab the book or the course at radicalawakening.com, or grab the Audible copy.
Well, I'm so incredibly excited to be a part of this, really this revolution with you. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for writing this book and for leading and for inspiring us to rise together. Can't wait for the course. It's going to be amazing. All of you who are here, if you want to be a part of this, this is the perfect time. Get the book, go to radicalawakening.com, join the course, and join us. Like, let's do this thing. I don't want the earth to die. Do you? I really don't. Like, this is our time right now to step up. So
Thank
thank
you.
you. I
Thank
love
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, you guys. Thanks for joining us.